Earlier this year, we got to try out the new Vivo V30 series, the V30 Pro 5G, and the base model Vivo V30 5G. If you haven't seen those reviews, you can check them out here. Between the two, the Vivo V30 Pro 5G is easily our favorite, especially with all the major upgrades made from its predecessor. There's a new, more powerful chipset, an improved display, and the best upgrade, a Zeiss co-developed camera. But along with these enhancements Vivo made, there also came a price increase. It was quite a big jump in price too, with the Vivo V30 Pro 5G now retailing for 34,999 pesos. For reference, its predecessor, the Vivo V29 5G, retailed for only 26,999 pesos, making it a bit out of reach for those on a tighter budget. It's a similar story with the base model V30 5G. Fortunately, the Vivo V30 line isn't just composed of the Pro and the base models. There's also the more affordable Vivo V30e 5G. But just because it's more affordable doesn't mean it shouldn't be feature-packed, right? Let's find out. Style has always been subjective, but we all agree that the Vivo V30 series looks nice. However, the V30e is the only one that looks different compared to its more powerful sibling. Unlike the V30 Pro 5G, the V30 and the Vivo V30e features a round camera housing, which helps distinguish itself from its siblings. If you don't recall, the V30 5G and the V30 Pro 5G have rectangular camera islands located on the upper left corner of the rear. This camera module also comes with a fluted bezel design, which is inspired by luxury watches. It's not as prominent as other smartphones, and it does make the phone look a lot more premium, in our opinion. The unit we have is in the cloud white colorway, which is nice and clean, and it even reminds us of the color of the V30 Pro 5G. The back panel can even change colors depending on how sunlight or light hits it, giving it a goldish hue. If you want something more subtle, there is the cocoa brown colorway as well. The Vivo V30e features a curved body, which makes it nice and easy to hold. It's also quite slim and light, measuring just 7.65 millimeters thick and weighing only 179 grams, making it easily fit in your pocket. More importantly, it won't bulge and be noticeable even if you're wearing skinny jeans. I mean, I guess it depends how tight they are. The button layout is the same with the volume rocker and power button on the right side. Situated at the bottom is the USB-C port, a hybrid dual nano SIM card tray, and a single loudspeaker. Overall, it does feel sturdy. The phone comes with IP64 protection against dust and water, so no accidental drops in the toilet for this guy. Since the Vivo V30e comes with a curved body, naturally you also get a curved display. It features a 6.78-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display that features a 120Hz refresh rate and nice even bezels all around. This AMOLED panel gives you beautiful colors with nice hues and deep blacks. However, do set your expectations, it's not as nice as the display of the V30 base and V30 Pro. But honestly, it's fine since this phone is a lot more affordable than the other two. In the settings, you can adjust the color mode and color temperature to your liking along with eye protection. Since you get nice vivid colors and a 120Hz refresh rate, it is more than adequate for binge-watching videos on YouTube, Netflix, or your favorite streaming platform. On top of that, it gets shot sensation glass protection too. The display is more than usable out in the sun with 1300 nits of peak brightness. Paired with a very loud and clear speaker, you can be sure everyone watching will hear what's happening on screen. But that's the problem. You only have one. So while it is loud, you can easily block it with your finger, like so. Sadly, Vivo hasn't fitted dual stereo loudspeakers onto the V30 series yet, even though some of the more affordable models have them as standard. Aside from watching videos, the nice display makes it easy to review all of the content you have captured using the V30e's cameras. Since you have accurate colors, this makes it great if you want to edit some photos in post and more. Meanwhile, gamers will also be able to take advantage of the 120Hz refresh rate when playing games on the Vivo V30e. With the bright screen and high refresh rate, playing games on this phone feels nice even if you're out and about. What we loved about the Vivo V30 Pro 5G was the new cameras. Specifically, the V30 Pro's cameras were developed in collaboration with Zeiss, allowing users to capture amazing images, and let's not forget about the new Aura Light 3.0 system. On the Vivo V30e, you don't get the Zeiss camera system. In fact, you don't even get a triple rear camera setup. Instead, it comes with a dual rear camera highlighted by a 50 megapixel main shooter with phase detection autofocus and optical image stabilization paired with an 8 megapixel ultrawide. But Vivo didn't just put any run-of-the-mill 50 megapixel main camera. Instead, they used Sony's IMX882 sensor, which is very capable and is typically found on more powerful and expensive smartphones. Even though we set our expectations low, the results were a lot better than we expected. We got sharp and clear images, especially in well-lit environments. The colors are not only accurate, but also vibrant. But it's not so vibrant that the photos end up looking overly edited. With the 8 megapixel ultra-wide, you can capture nice landscapes or group photos. The images aren't as sharp and the colors aren't as nice. You can easily see the lack of clarity too when you zoom in. At night, the Sony IMX882 sensor allows users to take some great low-light photos. There's not a lot of grain, and at the same time, the details are retained. The phone's algorithm does a great job of capturing the scenery too. Like its siblings, there's also Aura Light 3.0 to brighten up the subject and scenery, and you can adjust the color temperature to your liking. It's a great help when you're trying to capture moody photos. If you love taking selfies, there's a 32 megapixel front shooter with an aperture of f2. With the high megapixel count, you can capture a lot of details. This also means if you take group selfies, you can... But aside from photos, the Vivo V30e also records stunning video at up to 4K at 30 frames per second. There is also a stabilization mode, but only works at 1080p at 30 frames per second or Full HD, like most other phones today. If you want to start your vlogging journey, you can also use this phone to do so. You have various features like micro video and dual shooting mode to your advantage. With that, I recommend shooting at 1x zoom or the main sensor most of the time and not using the ultra-wide unless the subject is very well lit. The Vivo V30e runs on FunTouchOS 14, which is based on Android 14. Similar to its siblings, and as you would expect, it's more or less the same features. You get simple personalization options, which help you customize the themes and the layout of the phone to your liking. You also get split screen and floating windows, especially if you like to multitask on your phone a lot. For gamers, there's even a game mode to help boost performance. But of course, as with most Vivo smartphones these days, you do get a bunch of bloatware pre-installed. These include the hot apps and hot games folders, which you will likely end up deleting anyway. Aside from that, you get some of Vivo's apps, including their App Store. Once you remove the bloatware, the OS is nice and simple to use. But make sure to only take out what you don't need. Under the hood, the Vivo V30e is powered by a Snapdragon 6 Gen 1. Our review unit came with 8GB of RAM, which can be virtually extended by another 8GB and 256GB of internal storage. If you find the storage lacking, you do have a micro SD card slot to work with. The chipset is more than capable of handling all your everyday tasks and more. Whether you're browsing the net, watching TikToks, or IG Reels, you won't experience any lag whatsoever if you leave multiple apps running in the background or using features such as split screen and small window. In terms of gaming, it can easily run light games such as Mobile Legends and Asphalt 9. But even on more graphically intensive titles like Genshin Impact, it can run the game smoothly. We didn't experience any frame rate drops or lags when playing Genshin with the graphics set to high and at 60 frames per second. This is surprising considering that the phone didn't have the highest scores on Antutu. For reference, we ran Antutu and it garnered a score of 558,000, which is a decent score given the price point of this phone. However, it's not perfect. The phone does heat up quite fast when playing games. It didn't seem to affect performance, at least with Genshin. However, it's hot enough that you will be concerned about the phone itself. So do keep that in mind when you plan on gaming with the V30e. And for those of you interested in the other benchmark scores, they should be on screen now. So you might be thinking, the Vivo V30e might not last a long time, especially if you plan on capturing content. However, that's not the case. The Vivo V30e comes equipped with a 5,500 mAh battery pack, which is even bigger than that of the V30 Pro 5G. According to Vivo, the phone can last up to 22 hours of continuous video playback and around 9 hours of gaming. From our time with the V30e, it does last quite a while. At 79%, it told us we still have more than 2 days of battery life left, even when we used it for an entire day of capturing photos and videos, as well as running benchmarks and playing games. It still had around 42% battery life to spare. When you do need to recharge, it's good to know that we have 44-watt flash charge technology. Vivo says it can recharge the phone to 100% in just 48 minutes when using the provided power brick and cable. In terms of connectivity, you get the usual suite of 5G, dual-band Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.1, and GPS protocols. Overall, the Vivo V30e is a decent phone, but can be easily outshined by its siblings, particularly the V30 Pro 5G. But as mentioned before, the V30 Pro 5G is now a lot more expensive, starting at 34,999 pesos than its predecessor, making it a bit out of reach for budget-conscious buyers. For comparison, this Vivo V30e retails for 17,999 pesos for the 8 plus 256 gig variant. For reference, its predecessor, the Vivo V29e, retailed for 18,999 pesos, making it even more affordable than before. At that price point, it's hard to complain about the Vivo V30e for everything it can offer. You have nice cameras, a beautiful AMOLED display, a stylish design, and a capable chipset that can run graphically intensive titles. Still not the most powerful though, and either way, it's still not perfect, but what phone is? This guy does get somewhat of a heating issue when playing games and the lack of stereo speakers. The trade-off is a very nice, thin, and sleek device though, so maybe you value that. But what do you guys think of the Vivo V30e? Would you consider it over the V30 Pro 5G for budget reasons? Or would you rather just save up more and get the Pro model? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, if you found this video informative or educational or a little fun, be sure to smack that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that bell icon to get notified of our future uploads. Be sure to visit yugatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Don't forget to follow us on our socials. That is Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok for the, again, latest tech news and reviews, or if in case you just want to stay in the know for what's up with Yugatech and tech in general. Anyways, this has been Miguel, and I'll see ya in the next one. Cheers.